Electrodynamics, inductance of a coaxial cable. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it two different ways. So just a little refresh. In my previous video, I did the inductance of a solenoid. And so we defined inductance. Inductance is the flux divided by the current. So the magnetic flux through some part of that divided by the current. And then we also found that the energy density of the magnetic field, well, we did this first. We found the energy stored in an inductor is 1/2 Li squared. And the energy density of the magnetic field was 1/2 1 over mu naught B squared. So we actually have two ways to find the inductance. So the first way we're going to do is we're going to do this. And then I'm going to find the total energy in the inductor with the current I, and then use this definition to find the inductance. If we don't get the same thing both ways, then we made a mistake, and that's a little awkward, but it'll be okay. So let's start with this first one. We have the inductance as the flux divided by the current, but we need to find, in order to find the flux, we need to find the magnetic field. So I have here it's like a wire. It's a coaxial. So it's a wire, and it has a current on the outside of the wire. It doesn't really matter whether it's on the outside or not, but we do need to know that it's uniform in the circular direction. And then an outer wire with current going down the other way. Now we need to find the magnetic field on the inside, and here's where we can use Ampere's law. So let's just review Ampere's law, right? So Ampere's law says that the path integral of B dot dl around any closed loop is equal to the total current passing through an area bounded by that loop times the constant mu naught. Whoops, you okay? I'm okay. So if we know something about the field, if we pick something about the field, we can use that to our advantage, the symmetry of the situation. So imagine that I just redraw my coaxial cable right here. So I have current coming out of the wire, the board right here, and into the wire the other way. Symmetry seems to suggest that we're going to get a curly field. And that curly field, if you put your thumb in the direction of the field, then we know that if I pick some path around there, then the magnetic field should be tangent to that circular path. So that's number one. Number two, the magnitude of that magnetic field only depends on the value of R. So if I pick that path, then I can say one, B and dl, that's my dl, B dot dl is just going to be B times dl. So it's actually going to just be the integral of B dl. And that's kind of a big deal because B was a vector, dl is a vector, but they're in the same direction, so I just get B dl. Also, since find this at a particular radius that's constant, they all have the same radius, and I assume that only depends on radius, then in this integral that's constant. So I can pull that out, and I get B times the integral dl. Now I can integrate around the path. But I don't want to do that, and you don't have to do that because it's easy to do that, right? We can do that because it's a circle. So the integral of the path around a circle is just the length of a circle. So it's going to be B 2 pi r. And that's equal to mu naught times In, which is the current, I'm trying to pick a color, passing through this area. I like the colors, which is just I, right? That current doesn't pass through it, so it's just I. So now I have B 2 pi r equals mu naught I, or B equals mu naught I over 2 pi r. And what's the direction for that? I already told the direction. I used the direction to get that, right? So we know the direction of that. As you get further away from the center, the magnetic field goes to 0. Now, what if I'm out here? Well, now I can use this area to find the total current passing through there, and it's 0, right? Because I have I coming out, and I have I going in. The total current is 0. So I only have a magnetic field in that region. Now, let's just take a moment, because I was trying to do this numerically, and I did, and I made a little Python code that would show what this looks like. If you want me to show you how to make this, I'll be happy to do that, but I'm just going to show it to you. So here is my 3D Python code for the magnetic field in a coaxial cable. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. And don't worry about that. I'll talk about that little plate right there in a second. So you can see that put your thumb in the direction of the current, the field wraps around there, and you can see it gets smaller as you get further. Oops, that's too close. As you get further away. It's just pretty. Okay. Back to the screen. So now I have B, and I need to find the flux. I should have kept on that computer program. I'm going to use that in just a second. So imagine that I have like a wire connecting here. I'm trying to find the EMF. The inductance depends on the induced EMF. It comes from Faraday's law. So I need a path over which to calculate the EMF. So if I pick this path, then I could just imagine a rectangle right here that I need to calculate the flux over. And I do have that in my Python program. So you see that that rectangle right there? So that's what I'm going to calculate the flux through. So you can see that in that rectangle, the magnetic field changes as I get further away. So I need to do a flux calculation. So let's do that. Let's erase this. We don't need that anymore. And instead, I'm going to put B, which I know what it is, but just in case, mu naught I over 2 pi r. And now I can calculate the flux. So in general, the flux is going to be equal to B dot n hat dA. This is not a closed flux. It's just an open surface, right? For Ampere's law, and for this flux, we only need an open surface. So here, that's my area. What's the direction of n hat? Well, n hat would be like this, perpendicular to that. So that's the same direction as the magnetic field. So B dot n hat is just B. So I can write this flux as the integral of B dA. And I know B changes with R. So now we're going to use another trick. I could do xy integral, a surface integral. But whenever you can take a surface or volume integral and turn it into a one-dimensional integral, you win. Okay? So I can win this by choosing an area that looks like this. It's a long, skinny rectangle. So if I add up those long, skinny rectangles, I get the whole area. Now, the length of this is the length of my coaxial cable, D, and the width of that is dr. So I can say dA is r, no, it's not. It's drd, right? So that's and now I can put in my value for B, and I get the flux is going to be the integral from r equals a to b. A is my inner radius to my outer radius b, of b, which is mu naught I over 2 pi r, and then I have d dr. Well, a lot of that stuff's constant, so let's pull the constant stuff out front. I get mu naught. I doesn't change over that surface integral. Mu naught doesn't change. D doesn't change. 2 pi doesn't change. So I just have the integral from a to b of dr over r. Well, that's not a hard one to do. I know the integral of 1 over x is natural log of x, so I get natural log of x. So this is going to be equal to mu naught I d over 2 pi natural log of b minus natural log of a. So I'm going to write that as the ratio of b over a. And we physicists like to write natural logs as a ratio because then it has no units. And you can't take the natural log of something with units. So that's good. So that's my flux. So now I can find the inductance. L is the flux divided by the current. Well, there's only one current in there, and I get mu naught d over 2 pi natural log of b over a. That wasn't too bad. Let's put it over here because we're gonna use it again. Mu naught d over 2 pi natural log of b over a. Okay, now we want to do this. I want to calculate the energy density in there and then set that equal to 1/2 Li squared and solve for L that way. So the energy density is 1/2 1 over mu naught b squared, the magnitude of b squared. I know b. right? But I need to integrate over the whole volume. So I'm going to say, I called it delta E because I don't want to confuse that with electric field. Delta E is going to be the integral over the whole volume of u dv. And again, we have a triple integral. We're integrating over volume. But whenever possible, we want to cheat the world like the Kobayashi Maru. That was from Star Trek. Remember, he cheated. That was Captain Kirk. And make it so it's easier. So if I can turn this into a one-dimensional integral, I can. And I will. So what if I broke my volume up into these cylinders like this? That's a bad drawing. Yeah, that's not too bad. So this cylinder has a radius of r. It has a width of dr and a height of d. So now if I unwrap that whole thing, it's a box. So this is going to be equal to, if I unwrap it, this is 2 pi r. This width is dr, and this height is d. So dv is going to be equal to 2 pi r times d times dr. And I know that looks like ddr, and that was a bad idea. But sometimes you make bad choices in life, and you just have to stick to it and follow it through and see what happens. You can't start over, okay? I mean, I could start over, but I'm not starting over. So there's my dv element. But you'll notice that that's an r. That now I can just integrate from r equals a to b, and I can get my total volume. So delta E is going to be my energy density. Let's write the whole thing as an integral. The energy density, 1/2, 1 over mu naught. And then I have b squared. So I get mu naught squared, I squared over 4 pi squared r squared. That was b. And then I have this dv, which is going to be 2 pi r, I'll put the d over here, d dr. I know it's a mess, but we're going to make it work. Okay, so I'm just going to factor out some stuff. 1/2, I have a mu naught and a mu naught squared, so I get mu naught. I have I squared. I'm going to keep the 4 pi squared. Here I have actually a 2 pi, right? That had 4 pi squared, and I have 2 pi up there, so I just get 2 pi on the bottom. I have an r over r squared, so I have, oh, that's going to be inside, a d. I got the d. Got the 1/2, got that, got that, got that, got that, got that, got that. So then I have the integral from a to b of 1 over r dr. Oh my goodness, it's the same integral. I mean, should not be surprising. Okay. So if we do this, we get 1/2 mu naught I squared d over 2 pi natural log of b over a. And then we're going to set that equal to 1/2 L I squared. And I want to solve for L. Cancel, 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 cancel. So L is mu naught d over 2 pi natural log of b over a. It's the same thing. Sometimes I get scared that I'll miss a factor of 2 or something like that and not get the same thing, but I got the same thing. And you did too. Okay, there you go. That was kind of fun. I had fun. I'll talk to you later.